What is up, Z Fighters? It's Manga Adventures, and today we will be doing what if Goku landed on Metamor instead of Yardrat. I think this is a very interesting idea that would change much more to the story than you would initially think, so sit tight and find out how. So after the battle with Frieza, Goku is able to find a space pod from the Ginyu Force that crashes him on a random planet that they were initially sent to take over, Metamor. Similar to in canon, Goku will refuse to come home in an attempt to train and learn their ultimate technique, the fusion dance. A year later, he begins his journey back to Earth, but is beat there by Frieza. Though Frieza and his father King Cold is stopped by a young man who has the ability to turn Super Saiyan, though he isn't alone. He's accompanied by another person who is wearing Goku's old gi. It's of course later revealed that these two are Trunks and Gohan. They came from the future to warn the Z Fighters about the upcoming androids and bring a cure for Goku's heart virus. They then hop back in their time machine to return to their time, disappointed that nothing has changed because DBZ time travel works on multiverse theory. Now while the Z Fighters are training for 3 years, I believe now would be a good time to explain a few things that happen in future Trunks' timeline, mainly on why future Gohan is still alive. As you know, in the original canon, Goku dies of a heart virus before the androids even attack, and the Z Fighters all get killed by 17 and 18, slowly but surely. With the death of Piccolo, there are no Dragon Balls, so they can't wish anyone back, so it's a very bleak future. Though there are two beacons of hope. The time machine Bulma is building, they can time as a single line, and that they can fix everything before it happens, and the second is the fusion dance. Gohan learned from Goku when he was a boy. Though there are only two Z Fighters left, Gohan and Trunks. If you know fusion, you know this is a big problem because fusion requires two beings of similar height and equal power levels to perform. So this will honestly be a waiting game because Gohan truly believes the fusion dance could save the world, so he trains Trunks much earlier in canon. He ingrains in the boy's mind that when he gets older and is able to use the fusion, they will defeat the androids, so be patient until then. Trunks would take this to heart and not charge in the battle, meaning Gohan wouldn't lose his arm and would in turn survive until age 783. Trunks would be 17 and reach a height and power level enough to perform the fusion. The two will become Gohanks, and the androids don't stand a chance against him. He doesn't even have to go Super Saiyan to defeat them. The 17 years of waiting finally paid off. With the future saved, they wait until the time machine's ready in 784 to go back in time earlier in the video. Peace has been restored, and although changing the past didn't affect their timeline, they could still work towards a brighter future. But Gohan still has an itch in the back of his head. He couldn't leave the other timeline to suffer the same fate as them, so he has the idea in 3 years, when the time machine is ready, they'll head back and stop the androids themselves. They arrive when 16, 17, and 18 are activated and become Gohanks after Vegeta gets his arm broken by 18, being able to take down the three with ease for a second time. Once this is done, instead of going back, Gohan actually wants to see his father be cured from the heart virus. This brings a smile to the old survivor's face, who gleefully tells him fusion worked, but Goku wasn't as happy as his son. Goku tells Gohan you become reliant on that technique and then you have to train for yourself. It's obvious that Gohan stunted his growth as a fighter so Trunks could catch up to him so they can perform the fusion. But what if they aren't able to fuse for whatever reason? What if the fusion runs out and there's another opponent waiting in the woodworks? Who knows what could happen? Gohan knows this is true and asks his father to train him, so he does just that. They train for a year in the time chamber, and thanks to Gohan's potential, he's able to reach the same power level as his preteen counterpart. When the two leave the chamber, a pride-hurt Vegeta orders Trunks to enter the chamber as well. Trunks is reluctant due to his attitude, but Gohan tells him he needs to get stronger as well. Since the two enter the time chamber second, they are much stronger than in canon, getting very close in power to Goku and Gohan. But while those two are training, another threat appears. A really angry Cell who can't seem to find the androids. He actually confronts Goku and Gohan, who are relaxing at home, maintaining their Super Saiyan forms as a part of their training. And of course, he asks where the androids are, and Gohan happily responds with, they're gone. Cell blows up, saying he'll just have to go back again. When Gohan asks what he means, is when he gives a really creepy smile and says he came from another timeline, getting the time machine by finding and killing Trunks by himself, and then later Gohan, not giving them the chance to fuse. It seems Goku was right when he said Gohan needs to train, and now it's time to put that training to the test. Though I think we all know Gohan at this level of power would dominate semi-perfect Cell, so imperfect Cell is a breeze. Gohan thanks his father for the training and promises to continue pushing himself to further heights. When Trunks leaves the chamber, they head back to the future, but Gohan tells his younger self his father won't always be there and that he needs to train to one day step up to the plate of Earth's guardian if needed. Preteen Gohan takes this to heart and walks up to his father and asks if they could train together when he's not studying, of course. Now that we're back in the future, 3 years later when Cell attacks and he gets Trunks alone like he planned, he wants to prepare on how strong Trunks was going to be and is killed almost instantly. With the threat gone, they thought the future was safe, but peace can't last forever. Babidi arrives to revive Majin Buu, and although we don't know exactly how the events played out, we can assume that the Supreme Kai had the same plan he did in canon. Have Gohan get his energy absorbed so that Babidi's henchmen would lead them back to his base. Of course, this wouldn't be enough power, so Babidi sends his Majin-controlled warriors to gather more energy, though this still isn't enough, so he has to send Dabura to fight on the front lines. Dabura's able to turn Trunks to stone, so that just leaves Gohan. It's a very close fight, but thanks to a sacrifice for the Supreme Kai and Gohan unlocking Super Saiyan 2 to keep the future he worked so hard for safe, they gain a narrow victory. Before we continue, let's cover the differences in the main timeline. The first, of course, being Goku is still alive, which means he gets to train with not only Gohan, but his second son, Goten, making the Son family much stronger than in canon. Next is, I don't think Majin Vegeta will be a thing. Vegeta's whole purpose of giving in to that power was so he could have an excuse to fight Goku, who was only alive for 1 day. Without those restraints and the fact that they could have settled the score within the 7 years, he wouldn't give in to the power, meaning the final change, similar to the future timeline, is that Majin Buu wouldn't have enough energy to be revived. The exception to this comparison is that the Supreme Kai is still alive, which leaves us in Battle of Gods and the Universe 6 tournament being pretty much the same as in canon. The last change of this what if happens in the Goku Black arc. In the future timeline, since the Supreme Kai is dead, there is no Beerus, which means Goku Black makes himself at home. Goku Black attacks Earth and Gohanks is quick to come to his defense. Black was at first beaten badly, but thanks to Zamasu, he was able to escape and heal, giving him a major Zenkai boost. I feel like this would help Goku Black unlock Rose a lot earlier, since that would be the only form to overpower a Super Saiyan 2 Gohanks. Gohan and Trunks would eventually have to go back in time in hopes of receiving help from the past Z fighters. They succeed, but at the cost of future Bulma's life. When Black chases them, he's already Super Saiyan Rose 8, which causes Goku to go blue in response. The fight is then interrupted when the time ring pulls Black back to the future. Seeing Black's current level of power, Goku knows he needs to train, so he goes in the chamber alongside future Gohan to prepare while Bulma makes more time fuel. In there, Gohan apologizes for letting him down, saying he couldn't become strong enough to keep the future safe. Goku then tells him that he didn't get this power on his own, that you did an amazing job so far, and that he knows you'll just continue to get stronger. To help his son get stronger, when they leave the chamber, they perform the Super Saiyan God ritual on both Trunks and Gohan, motivating the two fighters. But Vegeta tells his son this isn't enough and pulls him to the chamber to train as well. So while this is going on, future Gohan meets his present counterpart's family, and it makes him think of what he could have had if the world was always at peace. The dreams of being a scholar was long forgotten because that's not what the world needed, though he would be lying if he said he didn't think about starting a family and living a normal life. In addition, since Zamasu had come earlier to save Goku Black, Gohan would know about his immortality, and Goku could learn the Mafusa. With all that training out the way, they're ready to return to the future. As expected, Vegeta is easily able to handle Goku Black, telling him that's a stolen body and he could never use its full potential. Meanwhile, Goku uses the Mafusa of Zamasu, and because Gohan is with him in this what if and isn't as incompetent, he doesn't allow his father to grab the wrong seal, so they successfully seal away Zamasu. Without Zamasu to heal him up or use the Batara fusion, Goku Black is defeated by a father-son Gallic gun, saving the future. Gohan, with tears swelling up in his eyes, says goodbye to his father, promising to master the God Key and even unlock Super Saiyan Blue one day. And that's it for this what if. This was a one-shot for the sole purpose. Goku learning the fusion earlier wouldn't change much, since he does learn it later on in the series. It would pretty much only affect the Android arc and a majority of future Trunks' timeline, as explained in the video. Even so, I enjoyed making it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I wish you guys would continue watching my videos. If you have any more ideas, don't be afraid to drop them in the comment section below. And hey, if I see this video gets a lot of love, a lot of feedback, I could make a part 2 that focuses mostly on the main timeline and focuses on other crazy fusions, and you know, really dive down deep into the story. That is, if you guys truly like it, or if you don't, if you think it's perfect as this one shot, you know, that's fine too. So the choice is yours. I'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.